Hello, this is Donna Demko with Stampin' Up. Today I am going to show you how to make the spinner card. This spinner card comes with adorable little attachments to put on here, so you can usually use it, make it very versatile with all the little different items you can put on besides the star and backgrounds. I did showcase this on my Facebook page, which is the www.facebook.com/Donna's Creative Corner. Visit my page and see some of the items that I did create, but this is one of them that's on there, and I promised you that I would show you how to make this beautiful galaxy background. And let me set this up here for inspiration. The stamp set that I'm going to use today is called Shooting Star. Get this out of this way here. This one is the Shooting Star, and you can see that it has a world, the moon, the star that I used, a little beehive, and a couple little bees here, the baby bee up here, and an airplane. And you have a couple extra stars here, one here and one here, and you have like 5 different sayings on here, so that makes you could do a complete card with just this stamp set. And also it comes the bundle, you get the bundle, and it comes with the die set as well. And I showed you a card that used on my Facebook page that used this die here, where the little monkey goes back and forth swinging on a rope on a vine. You can visit my Facebook page and see that. Today we're going to use this one right here, this circle one here, and this particular die here to make the card that I showed you. So here's the star, the shooting star. So let's get started on the galaxy background. I did use, on mine here, I used watercolor paper, but we do sell the watercolor paper on my site when you do visit my donnademko.stampinup.net. You can visit my company store and you will find this watercolor paper. But I want to also show you different options as far as if you don't have the watercolor paper on hand, I'm going to see what it's like just to do it in the heavier 100-pound cardstock. So you do need, I would suggest a thicker cardstock, because you do have to have, those are pennies in there, and you need to have something that's going to hold up to this constant turning around. And you can see it twists and turns. It's a very interactive card. And you can see on mine, do you see that sheen that I have on there? Just that shimmer. I'm going to show you that as well. I actually put it on the star as well. I don't know if it's picking it up or not, but the star has a shimmer to it as well. So let's get started and show you how to create your background, because this is not black paper. This is a white paper underneath there, and I popped it up on a new product as well that we use as far as strips for making shaker cards and stuff and such, and movable cards like these spinner cards. Well, you can really get that star going. It looks so cute when it goes around that circle around the bottom. So let me show you on a heavier cardstock. I just took, this one is a regular hard cardstock, 100-pound Whisper White, and I'm going to start with my lightest color first. Let me show you the ink colors I'm going to use. I'm going to use Basic Black, and I'm using the Archival Denim, Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to try the Rich Razzleberry on this one, although on my last one I did use, I believe, like the Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to try Rich Razzleberry on this one. Okay, I just wanted to check to see if we had the Rich Razzleberry in stock still. We do. And then the Daffodil Delight. So our colors that we're going to be using: Basic Black, Dapper Denim, Flirty Flamingo, Rich Razzleberry, and the Daffodil Delight. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my yellow, work up the pink, then into the purple, the blue, and my darkest color, the black. So let's get started with that. Now I am using these because I had them on hand and they're easy to use. You can actually use your Stampin' Up little sponges. I cut mine in a fourth and they work just as well. These are brand new and I don't have any of them except for one used up here, so I just had these out and that's what I used, so I'm going to go ahead and show you using these. So let me get my yellow. Get back here, you little rascal. Before you start this, you need to take a piece of paper to make your card, build your card, and with mine I'm using the black, and I have, this is 11 by 8.5, and I've just cut it down the middle and scored it 5 1/4, and it's going to be a top folding card, a tent card. So that's going to be my base. Now with the yellow, we just want to load up our little sponge here. Probably should have done a little bit of inking up on my pads. I've been using them like a year and I haven't even re-inked yet. So I'm going to come in off the side, just get a lot of good color right there in the middle. You can go all over the paper and do wherever you want. Leave some white spots to put in some other colors. You could make some really, really dark sections here in the middle because I want the light to be bursting from the middle out. I think you can see it here. You see my yellows more in the center and coming out towards the edge here. Because we want to add depth. So when we build color onto this card, our base is going to be this yellow in the center here, and that's going to show more depth in our card. So that's my yellow. Let's go on and add a fun pink. Put this away. Come on. Here's my flirty flamingo. You wouldn't think that pink would be in the background, would you? But it actually adds a beautiful, nice color on there. So let's just bring some in from the side here. You can go over this as many times as you want to because every card is going to be different. This is going to look totally different than the card that I just showed you that I have done. It doesn't matter as long as you're showing depth here. That's all that matters. And right now it looks like nothing to do with the galaxy, does it? It's all about building. So this time we're going to reach for our rich raspberry. See, the last time, you know what I don't see? I want to make sure I have some turquoise in here. Hold on just a moment. Let me grab a turquoise color. Let's grab a really cool Bermuda Bay. Love that color. We'll use that one before the purple, let's say. Let's put this one on next. I want to get some green in there. So let's just add... Let me see if I have a sponge that has some green on it. Bermuda Bay. I use this color a lot. I just love this rich turquoise color. And spring, especially summer, is a season to have this color in just about everything. Really pretty color. Doesn't matter if you can see my swirls on here because it is going to be covered in black, and these colors are just going to peek out at us a little bit, so it doesn't matter. Now let's go to our purple. Love these stamp pads. Rich raspberry. Ooh, this one is really juicy, so I might have to be a little less heavy hand on this, just because I'll probably wear more of it on my hands than what's on the paper. Let's get some coming in down here. Looks crazy so far, doesn't it? Go to our Dapper Denim. Change my little pad. We don't want any blending of the pads here. Little toppers. Some nice blues coming in around the edges here. See the depth coming in. Once you get to doing this, you're like, you almost get surprised of how well it turns out, because right now it just looks like a bunch of color on some crazy color on paper. Alright, now we have, this looks kind of cool, doesn't it? It's that stormy, scary, stormy sky. I can almost see a bolt of lightning coming out of that, but let's go ahead and add our black to it and make that deep, deep galaxy look. Use our archival black. Just come in from the sides. Start bringing in that darkness. And don't cover up all of your ink. Now around the edges, you do. All around here, let's just go all around the edges here. Because that is, we want to show infinity here. And then we can come in and start building on the colors inside. I do want to keep a lot of my yellow there. And like I said, this is going to look totally different than the one I just showed you, because that's what it's all about. It's going to be everyone is different. I want to make sure my sides get a lot of black in there, get really dark and around these edges. You can when you got a lot off of just barely a little bit on your stamp, you might want to come in and go over those colors just to blend them a little bit and mute them. But on these corners here where it's a little bit light, we want to make sure those are really, really jet black and dark. Look at that green in there. Can you see that? And the purple, the pinks and the purples and the yellow. Just that little blister of light in the center of the universe. I just want to make sure that my corners get nice and black. Okay, look at that. That's fun all on its own. Look at my fingers. So when we get to this point, we want to, right now it's too perfect. And we want to show stars and splotches of light showing in between all of this cloudy atmosphere. So what I do, let me put that away. You can get a spritzer and spritz, you know, one of your spritzers and fill up with water from Stampin' Up, and you can spritz that if you'd like, or you can use like a squirt bottle. Let's see how that does. Me, I just like to take a little glass of water, put my hand in there and just flick it out, just randomly like that. Let that water sit there for a minute. That was my drinking water, so I might get thirsty here in a minute. We're going to let that sit there for just a moment. You can see how it's taken up some of the color. Get yourself a paper towel. Just blot that really good. Just squeeze out all that color, all that water off your paper onto your paper towel. And look at this. Look how pretty that's getting. Now it's starting to resemble an atmosphere, right? You can do that a couple times. I know some people who do put the water on there, then they sprinkle salt on there, and the salt actually absorbs the color as well. Let's take a little bit more water. I just flecked my whole wall back there with water. Paper's starting to curl just a little bit, but that's okay. Let me get a little more water down here. Let that sit for a moment and take up some of the color. Now it's giving you that random burst of light look. Let it sit, and then take it and absorb it with your paper towel. Now your final touch to this, now that's looking really, really cool. You might want to wait and let this dry a little bit, because as it dries, this will get a little bit lighter. But for the sake of time in the video, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step. And we want to get white flecks on here to show our galaxy of stars, and we want them to be all sizes, starting tiny and then exploding out bigger. You can see my tinier flecks in here. I actually added the little stars from the stamping set, but I wish I hadn't done that. It looks cute on here if you hadn't, but I think it looks more realistic without the stamped stars on there. So this one I'm going to do without the stamped stars. Can you see how cool that looks? My paper is quite wet now, so maybe the watercolor paper is a great idea. But this will work too if this is all that you have. But now it's starting to look really, really, really galaxy. At this point, like I told you, I added some shimmer to this. The paper is really shimmery. Let's see if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. I used, and I don't think Stampin' Up! Has it anymore, but Stampin' Up! Used to have this little shimmer spritzer. Like a little, I think you can get like little smooch shimmers, or you can make your own with water, alcohol, and just your favorite, you know, shimmery color. You can actually use any color, but this one I want the shimmer to go on here. So this was from Stampin' Up!, a product that they have. It says a 14281 on the bottom. I think it was just a shimmer spritzer is what it was called. I don't see it in the new book, so I'm really going to miss this because this is all I have left. But what I did was I took and sprayed that. There's my little nozzle. Catches on this one. Give it a little spray all over. See where else I need some. Maybe in this corner. This should be spraying just constantly, but mine's sticking a little bit. So anyway, that should, once that dries, look at that shimmer on there. Let's get that to dry just a little bit. My paper's getting really, really heavy with moisture. It's kind of wet. So let me use my let's see if I can dry that up real quick. So this made a really beautiful, look at that shimmer on there. And like I said, you can make your own spritzers. I think most people do that nowadays, so they've kind of left it to that. For this next piece, I'm going to just put this on a piece of that paper towel I had, because put some things aside, because when I'm going to do some flecking here with some white to make my galaxy of stars, and as you know, that white goes everywhere. So let me move some of my items out of the way. And I don't know if you have anything that's white. What you could do is you could take your like your gel pens. This is another thing Stampin' Up! Is not carrying anymore, and I'm sad that they aren't, but you can get them anywhere really. And you can add your little stars randomly around with a gel. And you can see that looks really pretty. You see the little white standing out there. But what I like to do is find some white pigment and it is watercolors. I'm going to use watercolors here. Don't know if Stampin' Up! Has something that will work on this because you need it to be quite wet to fleck this. This is where it could get a little messy. Let me add a little bit of water here. Let me just take this little bowl. I know my little pin here actually has water in it, and Stampin' Up! Does have a little brush like this. This just came with my kit, that's why I'm using it. My little kit here, my watercolor kit. But I am going to pick up the white. See if you can see it. This one has a little thing of white, so I'm just going to get that really soppy. And then I'm just going to tap it down on my finger and bring in all those flecks, making stars all over. You don't care if it's different size. If some get bigger, that just means the star's closer. I would suggest if you're doing this to wear something over your clothes, maybe an apron, because I have a bright blue shirt on right now and I see little white flecks. So get that really soppy there. Get some bigger stars going here. You can get the edges as dark as you want with your black. But just a few more down. Wipe out my brush. You can check my Shop Now button if you're on my Facebook, and you can find these brushes as well on my site at if you're not on my Facebook page, you can find that at the www.donnademco.stampinup.net. So let me get these out of the way. See if I can turn my paper over. So just trying to flip over my page to get a little bit of a cleaner look. Now you can see, I put this zoomed in a little bit, so you can see the shimmer of the paper and my stars. Now it's looking a lot like a galaxy, isn't it? Isn't that pretty, all those colors? So let me get this a little bit drier because it's still a little wet, but we want to cut it. So let me get it a little bit drier and I'll be right back. So I just took a few minutes and used my Stampin' Up! Heat tool and dried my paper. Now if you were using, it's going to curl a little bit. Even if you're using watercolor paper, it would curl a little bit. This is a thicker cut paper, your 100-pound Whisper White, so it's not as bad. But look at the beautiful galaxy there. Isn't that pretty? I can just see the Star Trek Enterprise flying around in that space. So we're going to take this piece now that we're finished coloring it, and we're going to use our circle die set here, the circle one. It's magnet strong, and figure out where we want it on our paper and which side we want this to be. The top, I think so. I don't want to cut out a lot of that color, so maybe I'll do it this way. At this point, let's get it cut, and then we'll need to come back and put our little saying down here. And we want to white emboss that. So let's take a moment and get this cut. I'll be right back. So I took this and I put it through the Big Shot, and now you'll have 3 pieces. And this one right here you could save later to make a window shaker card out of. But for now, we're going to use these 2 pieces here. Look how pretty that is. It just, every time I see it, it just fascinates me. So we are going to be putting this on our card base here. And then this is going to be our center here. And then the middle is going to be left open for our, whatever we have to rotate around on a couple pennies or washers. And we're going to pop these 2 pieces up using our our new product from Stampin' Up, which are the foam adhesive strips right here. So I'll be using this in just a second. But in the meantime, right now I'm going to take and put my message on this. And you could put it here, or you can put it here. I'm going to put mine right down here. So let me grab a block real quick and decide on which one I want to do. The last one I did, You're Out of This World. And this time I'm going to do The Sky's the Limit. I love the Shoot for the Moon as well. They're all good sayings. This is a brand new kit, so let me see if I can find out which one. Should have had that ready, huh? Here's The Sky's the Limit. You know what? I do want to do You're Out of This World. That just makes more sense with the galaxy background. Stick that on there. We want to take our Versamark now. And we're just going to ink that up with our Versamark. First I want to, let's see if I can find this quickly, but I want to use my Stampin' Buddy on this, my embossing buddy from Stampin' Up. Mine's pretty old, but you can get yourself a new one off my page. Just go over that a little bit, just get the static off. Before I use my embossing liquid here. So I'm going to go right across the bottom here. These words are tiny, so it's kind of hard to see if they're going the right direction, if I got it right. I think so. At this point, you can take your Versamark pen, like this, here, and do the tiny side, and just add a couple more dots randomly. Make some really bright stars. Let's see if that works. I'll put a couple on here too. I know it works, but my pen's quite old, so we will see. Let me get a spare piece of paper here. Although it looks better than the paper I'm working on now. Cover up that. And take our powder white Stampin' Up embossing powder. Put a little bit on there where I did some stars. Let's see if that takes. You can barely see them, but once we get them embossed, they'll pop out there really good. See, I don't know where I put them on here if I did them so randomly, so let's see. I'm going to take that little line off of right there. This is the time where you would want to go back in there and fix any of that. I think we did a couple dots up around here, so let's do those really quickly. Make sure we get those all covered. Looks good. Get these off here. Get my powder back in my little container. And let's take our 7-Up heat tool and get these embossed. Just gonna warm that up a little bit. Just needs to warm up and then it'll come out. There we go. And like I said, my recommendation would be to use watercolor paper. Go around and get the stars here that I put little dots with my Versamark pen. I really can't see where I put them, so I'm going to make a lucky guess here. There we go. You really see them pop out then. Now let's do this one. Come on. There we go. There's one more down here I could see. Put that down and get that little flat again. Okay. So what I see with this is it tends to curl a little bit, and we're going to be putting some sticky tape on there, so some sticky foam, so it's probably going to make it lay flat. But I think I would probably, like I said, recommend using the watercolor paper. It's just a little bit thicker, so when you put it on your paper, you're not going to have to worry about it being flimsy. So once we have that done, let's get our foam tape on there. Let me get some snippers. And I mentioned these to you, our new foam adhesive strips. Still trying to decide. I mean, I've only used them once on this last card, so this will be my second time using it. I really like that it's already in a strip for you. You don't have to really do anything. Let's use this outside here. And start with that. We don't waste anything. So let's try that one. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 down here at the bottom. You felt, I wish I had thicker paper, but we don't want to put anything around this circle here because we don't want to get in the way of the pennies or washers that we're going to be using. So I'm just going to add 2 of them down here. Put another one just right under it for stability, and I want to leave enough room for my penny to go around there. I robbed my husband's penny bank. I'm going to put a couple just right here, just because this is thinner paper than your watercolor. And I'm going to need a little bit of structure there as well. This should be fun peeling all this off, huh? Now let's just take this edge. Start up at the top here, just a little bit more. Take this other end down here. Now I've just used the edges so far. I haven't even used the middle strips yet. This is so much easier than trying to use your edging of your Stampin' Dimensionals. Now on this one, I'm going to take this, cut it in half, and I am going to come down here for stability as well, because this is, like I said, a little bit thin. Let me take this side here. I want a couple of pieces on this as well. And then we will get it, boy, this is sticky. Come on. Let me get a little bitty piece here. And remember, we want to keep the edges free, so we're not going to put too much around the edge of this so our penny can flow. And a couple pieces. Alright. Let's see how this looks, shall we? Make sure, okay, I got my bottom here. Take this off. Let me get all of these little pieces here off. This looks like the backing comes off just as easily as the Stampin' Dimensionals. That's one thing I love about the Stampin' Dimensionals. The backing comes off that sticky part really easily without you fighting too hard. Say that now and I can't get this one off. But it is rather easy. Now I'm going to put this one on, but before I place the middle piece, I'll show you how to place that so that it's even. Let's see if we get this part even. That looks pretty good. There. Look how pretty that is on our black paper. It's all shimmery. So before we place this piece here, I'm going to bring back in the circle that we took off. I'm going to place that in there, and that's going to guide me to placing this piece here. Alright, let me get this last piece torn off. And then I want to decide where I want my colors to be. You see my yellow center here, and I think I want it to be about there. So once you get that on, you can go ahead and take the center out, and you should have a nice piece. Now the thicker cardstock you use, like I said, the watercolor paper, the nicer this is going to be as far as structure-wise. Like I told you, I wanted to try this on just paper you would have around your house to see if it would work, and it's actually not doing too bad. I do highly recommend the watercolor paper, but this one is working. See that? So now let's get our shooting star, or whatever you decide to put on there. Before, and I should have done this before I placed it, you can leave it like this, but I think I would probably take one of my Stampin' Up! Black markers, or I have a Copic here on hand here, I just pulled out of the wall here, and just kind of go around the edges here so that you don't see any white from your cardstock. Now I'm not touching the black backing in the background, I'm just getting these little edges here where there might be a little bit of white, and that will probably, it didn't show up too much on this one, but it would show up more on if you're using watercolor paper because that's thicker. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to rob your husband's penny bank like I did, or his little where he sticks all his loose change. I picked up all his loose change, got a nice jar of it. I don't have washers on hand that I know of, so pennies I know I have. And you could take your dimensionals right here when you're doing this, and you just want to cut off the little points so that you're making these circular to put your, so it twirls around here a little bit better. You want to get your whatever you're going to do as far as your little piece that you're going to have, your spinner piece. The bee would be just adorable, I think, and put the bees, the hive right here in the middle with the bee just spinning and buzzing all around that. That would be cute too. This is such an adorable set, I tell you. It is so cute. I can't stop making these cards. Then you're going to take and you're going to stamp off the piece that you want and color that up. I actually did use the same spritzer on that, so it's shimmery as well. I used my Copic markers. You can use whatever alcohol markers you have, or just regular, your Stampin' Up! Markers, whatever you want to do, because we're going to place that in here. So what we do is we take our two pennies. Let's see, do I have some circular? Yeah, I do. And cut down your dimensionals to a circle. I actually happen to have one here. And I'm going to place that right in the center. Take off the top. And put the other penny just exactly right on top of that one. We're making a penny sandwich. So there we go. There is our penny sandwich. See that? And now I'm going to take a dimensional and put right on top. I thought I just opened this. Let me get all dimensional and put it right on top here so that we can just put our little star on the top of that penny. Okay. You know what, before I do that, I'm gonna show you, I think it's gonna be easy to show you how to place this penny into this section here before I put my star on. That way you can see it better. But we're gonna take the sandwich, and we're going to take the middle and just stick it right in that edge right there. You see the top part there is in, and then we're going to curve our paper just a little bit without doing any damage or bending it. And we're going to put that right in the center. So now our penny spins around and round. Oops, it could have been in frame here. But anyway, you'll see that our penny is right in between that paper. And now we're going to, and the penny spins like crazy, and I think I just dropped my star. Hang on. And now we're going to take our little shooting star and place it right there. And now you have your spinner card. Now, of course, you're going to want to take a little bit of white and make the inside of your card, so you can put your little message on there to whoever it is you're sending this to. So there's your spinner card. How cute is that?